going to go back to that template tool that we used in the very beginning to select the library. So I'm going to hover on that right there. Under the Create section of our corridors, we're going to go right back to that Create Template tool. When we select this, the library opens again. However, we've got a whole collection of kind of administrative tools. A lot of users overlook these. It's under the menu drop-down on the top left called Tools. And when you pick this, guys, there's some really cool ones in here. A couple of my favorites are like adding the super elevation points. I can flag, I can pull up and see all the points in that template and go, I need those 4. Do it, and it'll just do them all at once. Like, that's a really handy capability to flag it for super. But there's other ones where maybe the feature definition's wrong and a whole collection of these points that you knew needed to be edge of pavement or something. So always check these out. A lot of good tools. Usually I see them as more of a administrative tool, like a medic type thing, like, oh, well, I tried to build it the right way, but I made a mistake, and rather than picking every little point and trying to go through that, that's really annoying. These can be helpful. But the very first tool on here is really cool, the organizer. And what the template library organizer at the very top of that drop-down does is it allows us to transfer templates between libraries, but also from a file to a library. And this is actually funny. When I started at Bentley, I had heard rumor of the capability, but I wasn't familiar. And I asked every single one of the civil colleagues, every single civil colleague. And there's only one guy that knew how to do it. It was Chuck. He was the only one out of the whole list. And at the time, I had to know because I became the civil SME for our knowledge database. So every little doodad and doohickey and button and how they behave, I had to write documents and put them in that thing. They went nowhere, so that was unfortunate. But, in this scenario, he was the only one that knew. So like if you even asked our other colleagues, it was a bit shameful. So I was like, no, we got to do better. So now every training class, regardless, I've always told everybody the capability. And so I'm going to just maximize this dialogue so we're focused on it. Source, destination. Think of it like that. Source, destination. So I want to grab something from here, and I want to put it over there. That's how I like to think of it. And if I expand the destination, this is that library we loaded earlier. See all of the info in there. Now, I'm going to come down to these project templates, and we've got some in here. And I believe Scott already made me a folder called Edited from Corridor. He's kind of, for the course, he said, hey, let's put some of those in there. Now, notice it says available in at the source. It says active design file corridor. This only works when you're in the corridor model at DGN. We can't read across references or any of that. You have to be in that file, but when you are, we're actually indexing everything that's in there. So just to show you, when I double click this folder, there's the alignment name, which then subsequently became the corridor model. And when I open that, there are all the templates that we put in there. And if you'll notice, there's one we edited, and it has an edit time on it. So what you did can be pulled back into the library. So that's a cool little trick, if you didn't know that from the DGN. What most people do, just so you're aware, is they ignore what that says, because no one reads, right? No one reads. Every dialogue, I was an IT manager for 11 years. Every dialogue, thing popped up. What did it say? I don't know. I just hit yes. I don't know what to do for you now. I have no idea what the message said. Like, you need to read the dialogue. So we all do it. I do it. Everyone does it. But it says active design file corridors. But what most people do is they come all the way over here to this teeny tiny icon, no less. Like, it's smaller than the word. It says this is coming out of DGN, and they'll go, oh, if I pick that, I can go pick another library and copy from what. Y'all know that. You didn't know it could come out of the DGN. So just make sure y'all know it can come out of the DGN as well. So just to show that, I'm going to hit cancel on that for a minute. We could drag this over. You got to be careful. So if I were to pick this, you don't have to do this, I'm just showing. But if I pick this and I go to drag it over, watch what happens if I move my mouse around a little bit too much. Oh my goodness, it just starts opening folders on me. What's going on? So this becomes kind of quirky. So, be very careful. Open only the folder you want. So I'm gonna come in here, and the worst part is when it's a really good template, and then you're like, which folder did I drop it in? How do I find it? Yeah, that's not fun. So, in this instance, I've got that very particular one open. I'm gonna select and very carefully make sure I bring it in. Now, as I bring it in, you'll notice I'm kind of coming in from the bottom up, and then I'll go, I want it there, and drop it in. So you gotta take your time with this one. It's just weird. The first time I did it, I was like, what's going on? All the folders were expanding, and we had like hundreds of folders. So just be careful. But that's a really cool capability. All right, I'm gonna hit close. We're gonna go ahead and hit close on that. And I think, are we at break now?